You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
I work Halloween Haunt, not Scary Farm, every year since, 1994. So, I'm used to working these crazy hours. As you know, you progress from line employee to management, the hours get longer and longer. A typical not Scary Farm shift for me is 3 p.m. to sometimes 3 a.m. or beyond. That's just the way it goes. And you don't get mad. You don't sigh, oh, I gotta go to work. You go, hey, this is what I signed on for. I'm ready for it. So I've never really thought, like, the long hours have never really bothered me. It's when you bookend things on them that becomes a problem. Like, before I go to work, I usually am catatonic. I stare off into space, lay down, whatever, so I can be rested and ready. And I rarely do anything afterwards. Sometimes my wife will be like, Rachel will be like, hey, we got to go do a couple of errands before I go to work. And I'm like, oh man, you're throwing a wrench into my system here. But that's what happens more than the other, because the other would be finishing up at haunt and then going to do something, which is hard to do because normally at the end of a Scary Farm haunt night, I am done. I am completely exhausted, exhausted in a way like you can't even imagine. So, and again, what are you going to do at 2 in the morning anyways, right? What have you got planned? Like, I couldn't work a haunt night and then drive to Las Vegas. And I know some people that do. I know some of the people that do, and I don't know how they do it. I don't think I could do that. But I did do something during the run that was completely out of the ordinary. And it was thanks to my good friend Jeff. He works security down at the Grove, and they do book signings all the time. Jeff meets the most amazing people. He has pictures with every kind of celebrity you can imagine, from sports to social media celebrities to bona fide movie and rock stars, TV stars, you name it. And it's really cool. Now, I've never seen what he does. And once I did see it during this trip, I am in awe because it's a lot of work. God bless him. Massive amounts of work. So the Grove of Anaheim has book signings all the time. You can go. If you follow their social media and you keep in the know, you can meet some really amazing people. And it just so happens that they did a book signing, and you can tell by the title of this episode, the boss himself, Bruce Springsteen. Now, I grew up listening to Springsteen's music. My brother was a big Springsteen fan. He was the working man's rock star, the New Jersey boy that done good, right? Has an Oscar for Philadelphia. Arguably one of the biggest music stars living today. Massive. Just massively famous. And he was going to be at the Grove signing books. Now, listen, I'm a moderate fan of Springsteen. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. But I am a guy who sells on eBay. And if I can go and spend a couple of hours and get a signed book that then sells for more than I pay for it, that's how I get through life. I got a family of 5 to feed here, so eBay is a lifesaver for me. And if I had kept everything down the years that I have found and then sold, my collection would be amazing. Like, I've had stuff that would blow your mind. I mean, if you listen to any of my early mini episodes, the amazing finds at swap meets. But I got bills to pay like everybody else. And you have to look at something and go, this is a really cool item. But it's going to translate into keeping the lights on. So you see the choices you have to make, right? Now, going into the Springsteen thing, I thought, I'll get a book. And I looked them up on eBay. They were going for about $300. And I thought, a few hours of my time is definitely worth $300. I'm not, I work cheap. So I said, we're going to go down there. And originally I was going to take the whole family. And I'm glad that I didn't. I ended up getting off Knott's at a little after 2, like 2:10, 2:15. I drove home. I picked up Luna and Austin. And God bless us, we drove out to the Grove. Now, the Grove is a relatively new shopping center. It's located right behind Farmers Market. Now, Farmers Market's been there since the 1920s, and I've been going to Farmers Market since I was a kid. My mother loved Farmers Market. In fact, one time in the 1970s, she got into an argument over a parking space, and the gentleman who was trying to take the space from her leaned down and said, Madam, do you mind if I take this spot? I'm in kind of a hurry. My mother nearly lost her mind because it was Charlton Heston from Planet of the Apes. Moses himself. So I've been going to Farmers Market forever. I love Farmers Market. I've only been to the Grove a couple of times. It's really upscale. They do have a fantastic Barnes & Nobles where the signing is, but it's mostly clothing stores and stuff. It doesn't really appeal to me, but it's a beautiful place. So we flew down the freeway, which is great because at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, there's not a lot of traffic. So we got there, and I couldn't find the line. I didn't see it from where we were. So we parked in the parking structure. I took the little ticket, and I realized parking was going to be very expensive for the day. The Grove you're meant to be there like an hour. Anything over an hour, you're going to pay big bucks. I think we ended up paying $36 to park. Can you think about that, folks? $36 to park at a shopping center. So you have to add that onto your bill of whatever you buy. Which, look, I'm buying the Springsteen book, which is going to be like $25. So, okay, 25, 36, I'm at, 61? And I can sell for $300. Okay, so I'll make like $240. I mean, this is how you have to operate when you're selling on eBay. You have to figure out what you're really paying for it. Every angle, and is the outcome going to be favorable? And I was looking at it like, look, if I can make $200, it'll be a good investment. It's going to take hours and hours because we got there at 3, and he wasn't scheduled. Springsteen himself wasn't scheduled to be at the bookstore until around 12 noon. So we were looking at 9 hours in the line. So it's 3 o'clock. We walk out into the Grove, and the three of us, we looked around, and there was nobody at the Grove. All of the lights were on. The fountains were going. It looked like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody had just been vanished from the Grove. We I looked at Austin, and I said, do you see anybody? I don't see anybody. Like, Luna, do you see anybody? No. We're the only ones here? Where's the line? I don't know. So we looking around, and finally we found a couple of people. And we're like, there's supposed to be a big Bruce Springsteen signing here. Now, we've been here like 20 minutes. We couldn't find anybody. The place was a very well-lit, beautiful ghost town. So finally, we found somebody who directed us out to the street. So we head out past the parking areas, down the lane to the street, and we found the line. The line was on the street. Now, these people, again, this is Sunday, nearly 3:30 in the morning. These people have been here. The front of the line has been there since Friday. Oh, my God. They had sleeping bags. They had a tent. They had food. They had, every kind of convenience they could to make the wait less excruciating. And I'm like, oh, my God. Now, I know that they've got roughly 13 or 1,500 books. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say 1,300. So the three of us start walking the line. We'll walk the line and we'll see where it ends. And wherever it ends, we'll just get in the line. So we walk down the entire length of the Grove, and the line stopped, and then it continued across the street. So we walked across the street, and we followed the line some more, and some more, and another block, and another block, and another block. And we finally got to a 7-Eleven, and Luna had to go to the bathroom, but I said, well, you could try the 7-Eleven, but I don't think there's anybody. I don't think I have one. Hollywood's notorious for, being overrun with homeless, so they're not really friendly bathroom-wise. So at this point, the line turned the corner and actually headed into a neighborhood, a really dark residential neighborhood. And at that point, I turned to Luna and Austin. I said, I work the line at the Schultz Theater at Knott's sometimes. There's more than 1,300 people in that line. There are going to be very disappointed people. And they're like, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I do not know. I said, let's go see if we can find a bathroom. And beyond that, let's see, because it's not worth getting in the line. If we get at the end of the line, we are not going to make it in. It's just not happening. So we walked all the way back to the front, and the whole time I'm like, this is a fool's errand. We should probably just go before parking racks up, right? So because it's one of those automated things. It's not like you pay the guy at the booth, because a lot of times those pay the guy at the booth things, the booth's not even open until the shopping center is open. So you can buzz in the middle of the night, park, do what you got to do, and then buzz out. Or the clock starts running at 9:30. No, this was automated. So the minute I got there, the clock was running. So we get back to the front of the line, and then back to another block into the Grove. And we started looking around at the farmer's market area for a bathroom. Whole thing's locked up tight. I said, just go in one of the planters. My kids are like, oh, we don't know. They're terrified of that. I said, you're watering the plants. It's not a big deal. Oh, no, we can't do that. I said, well, you're going to have to hold it then. You're going to have to hold it. So he's got to go. I get it, So we find some guy, and he works there. He's in maintenance. I said, is there a bathroom anywhere? I said, these kids have got to go. And I try to do that because, they're more sympathetic to kids than they are adults. Because if it had been just me, I know the maintenance guy would have been, just water the plants, man, if you know what I mean. And instead, the guy goes, yeah, at 4 a.m., they're going to open the restrooms at the concierge. And I'm like, the concierge? He goes, yeah, the valet station inside the parking structure. So we go in the valet section of the parking structure, and if you've never been there, it looks like a living room. There's multiple couches, tables, magazines. It's well lit. It looks like you're at somebody's really posh house. And we waited there until 4. When finally this guy comes in, and he just opens the bathrooms, and we went in and used the restroom. The nicest restroom I've ever been in. Nicer than any upscale, Vegas casino bathroom. I know some of the Vegas casinos are seedy, but some of them, at the Hilton, were really nice at one point. This was even nicer. Real cloth towels. There was a dispenser for mouthwash next to the sink. Austin looked over and he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I think I might have bad breath, so I'm freshening up. He goes, I'm like, it's here to use. It's here to use. And thankfully, the restroom is now open, so if we have a problem, we can go to the restroom. So we finally head out back to the line, because I know at some point my friend is going to show up, and we're going to figure this out. And if he says it's a no-go, then it's a no-go, and that's fine. So finally, Jeff shows up, and he goes, oh my God, where you been? Did you find my friends? I said, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. And let me preface this by saying that we had made another visit to the line where there was nearly a fist fight because this guy attempted to cut the line and they weren't having it. And the guy goes, the people protecting the line, they're like, get security right now. And apparently, like at 10 p.m. the night before, security had walked the line with a video camera, keeping track of who was in line. So the guy goes, get the camera and run the tape back to this spot. He wasn't here. And the guy's like, man, I've been here since Saturday morning. No, you weren't here. And then it's like they're going at it. So I don't know what the outcome of that was. I'm not getting involved. Right. So Jeff goes, I'm going to put you in line with some friends of mine. I said, no. You're going to get me killed. And they're going to seriously harm you, but I will be killed. He goes, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just one guy. It's fine. So we walk over, and unbelievably, at this exact moment, a homeless guy in a what should have been a motorized wheelchair. I say should have been because the battery was dead. He was rolling it with his hands, which must have been awful because these things weigh 3, 4, 10 times as much as a regular wheelchair. And it's loaded down with all of his worldly possessions. He is screaming the F word at the top of his lungs at anybody nearby. F you, F you. And security comes over and says, sir, you've got to calm down. I'm in the street. I get to do whatever the F I want here in America. That's what I get to do. And then everybody's trying to be polite and get this guy out of here. I'm not going anywhere till somebody helps me roll down the street. And security's like, look, I'll help you roll down the street. Don't touch my wheelchair. So you can't win. You can't win with this guy. He's screaming, F you, F you, F you. And it's that exact moment in time and space that Jeff drops me off with this group of guys. And it couldn't have been more perfect because everybody's focused on the screaming guy, right? And these guys Jeff goes, this is my friend. They go, oh, what's his name? His name is Jeff, too. Oh, it's easy. Okay. So the leader of this group, and he's got a blanket around his shoulders. He just looks at me and he goes, oh my God, where have you been? How far is the bathroom? You shouldn't have left for so long. I'm like, oh, this guy's good. This is a professional line guy. And I go, man, there was a line. I'm sorry. I won't. It's all cool. And Jeff, goes off down the line. And I just sort of stood there for a while, being real cautious and real quiet and just looking at faces and making sure nobody has a problem with this. Here's the thing. I'm not taking a book from anybody around this part of the line. I'm taking it from somebody at the end, right? And I know that. But what are you going to do? You got to do what you got to do, right? Got to do what you got to do. So I get in with these guys, and there's 4 of them, and they're very Jewish, and it's Rosh Hashanah. And the one guy is telling the other 3, well, I told my boss it was Rosh Hashanah, so I needed the day off. And how I choose to spend my Rosh Hashanah is entirely on me and my business. And I'm like, this is hilarious, right? I feel like I'm in a sitcom, like a really, really good sitcom, because these guys are hilarious. So you know what they do? They get out their phones and they start showing off who they've met. These guys are the ultimate star effers I've ever met. Hilarious. So one guy flips through his phone and he's got a picture of him from like 1987 or 88. It's scanned in on his phone. And he goes, here I am with Queen Elizabeth. And it's him with Queen Elizabeth. I'm like, oh my God. The other guy goes, well, here's me with, what's her name? From Charlie's Angels. She has a clothing line at Kmart. And I chimed in. I'm like, Jacqueline Smith? He goes, that's right, Jacqueline Smith. Here I am with Jacqueline Smith. And then the other guy goes, hold on. He goes to his phone. He's scrolling. And he goes, here I am with Olivia Newton-John. And the other three go, oh my God. And this went on for like an hour, and I was laughing so hard. They've met everybody. They know everybody. It was really impressive. Really impressive. Because star stuff doesn't really do much for me. There's very few celebrities that would give me pause. I've talked about on the show. Gene Wilder would have messed me up quite a bit. I've met most of my heroes, or I've seen them from across a room. So I don't know. But it was fun hearing these guys get so excited. It was also interesting to listen to the people in the line around me talk about what Bruce Springsteen meant to them. Because remember, these guys, from where I was in line, had at least been in line since Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. Like, they put in their time. God bless them. I'm a usurper, and God bless them, right? But they were all talking about what they're going to say to Bruce when they meet him. And I didn't have the heart to go, you're not going to have time to talk to Bruce Springsteen. We had heard that all the books were pre-signed. He had already signed them weeks ago. That way, when you got up to see him, he was going to take a picture with you. So, that's fine with me. I was like hoping that the books would go on sale at like early. They'd hand me the book. And I thought, I don't really need a picture with Bruce. The minute I get the book, I can buzz out of here, right? Because at this point, I'm in line, and I've left Luna and Austin on a bench at the Grove, waiting for the daylight to show, right? So now it's like 4:45, 5 in the morning, right? And I'm just like, oh my God. This is when the fatigue starts to hit you, right? It's really, I've been up all freaking night. Everybody else has too. The difference is, and they've been waiting in line. I get that. That's excruciating. I worked a full shift at work, so I think we're about even, right? So we find out at 5 a.m., two things. We find out that the Grove is going to send a guy around, a cart, with free coffee and Danish. Now, this sets off a fever pitch with the people around me. And every time a security guard walks by, or like a concierge from the Grove itself, they start hassling this person. Excuse me. They said there was going to be free Danish. Where's the free Danish? We've not seen the coffee. Has it all been given away to the front of the line? Because they should really have enough to get back here. And the lady's like, it's coming. They're walking down the aisle. It's coming. Now, this went on for like 40 minutes, this fever pitch of, where is the free Danish? Once you tell us you have a free Danish, we want the free Danish. And I was getting kind of excited too. Like, I'm bored as hell. You can't use your phone the whole time because the battery will die. And I'm very conscious of, if the battery dies and I get up to meet Springsteen, I won't be able to get a picture with Springsteen. So I'm playing the odds, right? So finally, the Danish comes by, and these guys descend upon it. You know how that scene in the Charlie Brown Christmas show where the tree is all droopy and then the kids walk over and it's just a bunch of hands waving in the air. And then the tree's all upright. It was like that, except it was a huge plate of Danish and then and then there's like none left. I said, is there more Danish? Because I'm not going to, that's not me. And they go, oh yeah, there's another tray coming. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got a cheese Danish. It was very nice. I didn't need the coffee. I don't drink just black coffee or anything like that. Now, to be fair, they had black coffee, and it was it wasn't like individual cups or anything. Like, it was in a tureen, and they had milk and sugar and all that. It was like creamer. Like, it was class act. The Grove put on a class act for everybody waiting in line, right? Now, like I said, there were two things. The other thing we discovered at that exact moment was that there was a Starbucks in the Grove that just opened. So I'm like, all right. So I get Austin and Luna. I go, here's $20. You guys are smart, right? I want an iced mocha, and I want a chocolate, what do you call it? Croissant. It's about $7 or so. $8 maybe. I said, that leaves 12 for you. Whatever you can buy with the 12 is on you. What you do the math. You can get whatever you want. Now, I know that this is real life math and going to a counter and ordering and talking to people. So this is a big thing for them. I was really proud that they went and did this. Now, they were gone 45 minutes. And when they finally arrived with the stuff I ordered, I said, what on earth took so long? Apparently, I guess she was homeless. When the order came up, she just took it and ran off with it. So they had to make it all again. And again, they have to explain, like, hey, we ordered all this stuff and somebody took it and now we don't have it. So again, good on them, right? So I finally, I got my stuff. It was about, I would guess it was about 5:30, 5:45, getting close to 6 a.m., getting close to the sun coming up, thank goodness, right? So with anything like this, guess what happens next? Yes, the news media descended upon us, right? Channel 11 was there, Channel 5 was there, and they start doing live broadcasts. And, I'm one of those guys, I don't need to be on the news. I'm okay not being on the news. There were much more colorful people around me. The leader of the group I was with, the guy with the blanket, he just turns to me and he goes, let me know when the news media shows up. I don't want this schmata on my shoulders when they're here. And I'm like, I'm laughing because Yiddish reminds me of my youth and it just cracks me up to see it used in because I try to use as much Yiddish as I can. And I just was reveling in it. Like, this was like the most fun being miserable a person can have. Does that make sense? It was the most fun being miserable a person can have because I was having a good time. The homeless guy showed up again one time screaming the F word with his non-existent electric wheelchair. One guy decided to engage him, which just riled him up even more. And then finally, the news media walked the line, right? And I have it somewhere on tape. I'm just standing there. And the reporter comes up to me and my vest and thinks all of my buttons are Bruce Springsteen buttons. They're not. It's Marty McFly. And she goes, oh, this isn't Bruce Springsteen. What is this? I said, oh, I'm a time traveler from 1985. And even the other guys are like, why would she pick you to be on the news? I said, I don't know. I didn't seek this out, right? So the news is there. It's becoming a circus. And every once in a while, the line moves up a little. Like they condense it a little more. And then finally they'd say, we're going to hand out wristbands. Now, this is key. Once you have a wristband, you're guaranteed the book and the photo. So the wristband is all important, right? And the news travels down the line. They're at the front. They're giving out the wristbands. And I'm like, just let me get that wristband. There was even talk of getting the wristband and you could leave and come back if you didn't mind waiting in the line, right? So one of the guys, he sees me on my phone and he hears me talking to Austin because Austin needs a little more guidance than usual. This is a strange event we're at. And he goes, who are you talking to? I said, it's my son. He's at the restroom and then he's trying to figure out where to wait for me. And he looks at me and he goes, well, why isn't he in line with you? And I just looked, oh my God. I did the 1,000-yard stare 8 inches from this guy. I looked at him. I looked through him. I looked beyond him into the next dimension. And I realized he is giving me the okay to bring Austin in the line with me. Oh my God. That means my $300 book, of which I'm going to make $200, I'm about to double. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so I said, when you're done, Austin, take off your horns, because, he likes to wear horns. I said, take off your horns and come find me in the line as quickly as you can. So a few minutes later, Austin shows up. Now, Austin's dressed like a rock star. He's wearing a red leather jacket, horns, bracelets, and he looks like I invited Lenny Kravitz's children party version. You know, like if I was like, look, you got what do you got for children's parties? Oh, we got Ariel, we got Elsa, we got Barney. You got Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, let's see what we can come up with. And then this guy that's what he looks like. That's what this guy shows up. Birthday party, Lenny Kravitz shows up. So he stands there and goes, what's going on? I said, I'm like talking without moving my lips, right? I go, just be cool and stand here until you get a wristband, okay? Just do this for your father. I've never asked you to do anything. I need you to do this for me in the worst possible way. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. So 20 minutes later, they show up with the wristbands. And of course, everybody has a million questions about the wristband. And I'm just like, just put the wristband on. Just put the wristband on. And they have to put it, they won't just hand it to you. They put it on you, right? And they put it on, me, click. I'm like, boom, I got my wristband. Austin, click. Oh my God, click. He's got a wristband. And then they move down the line. Everybody's got all these questions. And I said, Austin, you've got the wristband. All you have to do now is meet me at the front of the store when we go in. Okay? Be cool. Be cool. Oh my God, be cool. So by now the sun is up. Things are rolling. And we move all the way to the side of the grove. We leave the street. We're in the grove proper, right? They got coffee going. There's more interviews. And thank goodness, they're interviewing people who are really there to meet Bruce Springsteen and have a moment. Not, idiot scalpers like me. I get it. I totally get it. Thank goodness they're interviewing people. And what does Bruce mean to you? And yada, yada, yada. And finally, they let us in the store. And Austin's right with me, and I said, where's Luke? Luna had went to the car and to go to sleep. That's fantastic. And by now it's about 7:30, nearing 8 a.m. Remember, Bruce is scheduled at 12. So we're rolling, right? The problem is I am running out of steam. I don't know how people do this. I am not this guy. I am running out of steam. So we purchased the book at the register. And you know what? There's that shining moment as I'm paying for it where I go, oh my God, they're going to hand me the book. And they're going to hand Austin a book because there's one per person. They're going to hand him a book, hand me a book, and we could be home by 9:15. We could be home. So we go through the line. I pay for it. She scans a dummy book. We go through another line, and there's no book. There's no book. You don't get the book till afterwards. And I'm like, oh God, I was picturing laying in bed at home and just being so thrilled about that. Alas, chérie, is not to be, said Belloc. So we end up, they snake the line through the multi-level Barnes & Noble store. Up escalators, around bookshelves, up here, down there, up here, down there. And you know what? I am a stranger in a strange land. And I'm watching people get real pushy. The group that we were with, we got separated from, those nice Jewish men. They ended up at least 100 people ahead of us. How that happened? People just started pushing and being jerks. And I am passive. I am not going to do a thing. Whatever happens, as long as I get the book, I don't care. I am not getting in an argument because I don't need anybody looking at me and going, well, you weren't even here. And I go, what? So we're camped out in the rock and roll book section, and I'm perusing a book about Bowie and a book about Prince. And then the line moves, and we ended up in architecture and then photography. And we end up around a bend, and finally we get fully searched. We get the full pat down, which is fine. I got nothing on me. And we end up on the level with their Starbucks and their restroom, thank God. And Austin and I are camped out now by one of the upper registers buy like, impulse purchases, bookmarks and stuff. And I said, Austin, I'm out of steam, man. I have to shut down. So I closed my eyes, and Austin, God bless him. He's let me sleep for a little while, then he'd wake me up, and then I'd sleep a little more, and he'd wake me up. And they've got a whole thing built up where they've got pipe and drape so that when Springsteen arrives, you won't even see him till you see him. There's no advanced pictures allowed. They walk the line. You're going to go up. You're going to stand with him. You're going to get one picture, and then you're out. Your book, and then you're out. And I'm just like, oh, bring it on. Oh, my God, bring it on. So I got Austin and me some snacks from Starbucks, and I picked up some graphic novels to read. None of the registers were open. The store was not even open to the public till this signing was over. You couldn't buy anything. They had new reaction figures. I was freaking out. Can't buy them. I was reading the graphic novel Fight Club 2. It was really good. Can't buy it. And we're just stuck. And we watched one lady walks by. She was wearing stiletto heels and a very tiny dress. And I turned to one of the people in line and I said, was she dressed like that all weekend? And the guy goes, she went in the bathroom and changed. No, she's trying to impress at the very end. It was really weird. You're going to get 3 seconds with this guy. You think you're going to make like the impression of all impressions and he's going to go, hey, here's my hotel number. Like, that's just gross. That's just gross, right? So we dismissed her. We see more and more security coming in. And finally at 10 a.m., 2 hours early, Bruce Springsteen showed up. 2 hours early. It was amazing. So the line started moving. So instead of 2 more hours of just sitting there, the line's moving. And Austin and I are moving here and there. It took another solid hour and a half to get to the front of the line from where we were. But, I'm not complaining. We had already watched people screaming and yelling. At one point, somebody yelled that there were people cutting in line. Somebody was thrown out. And I'm like, no, I have no issues with anybody. I am a leaf on the wind in this store. And then you know what? We entered the curtain, and there was Bruce Springsteen, looking as lively as a Madame Tussauds wax dummy. And I watched people go up. They try to say something, and he goes, hey. And they take a picture, and then they're out. So Austin and I walked up, and I said, hey, it's Bruce Springsteen. How are you? And he goes, hey. The picture goes, and we're thrown out. They hand me my phone back, and they hand Austin a book. They hand me a book, and we're out. And it was very surreal. Like, it was all that build up. And I think our interaction was about 3 or 4 seconds, and then we were out. Kind of like Christmas Story. Like, the line to see Santa is so very long, and you get there, and Santa looks at you, and Bruce just pushed me down the slide. He went, ho, 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 and he pushed me down the slide. Not that I was looking for some sort of revelation. In my life, Bruce isn't that guy. When I met Morrissey, it was kind of a revelation to a young man such as myself. But it was fascinating. And you know what? It's weird to see somebody that famous. Like, that's a really famous guy. And we get out on the street, and Austin and I have our books, and we're holding them like they're gold, because they are. And I check the phone, and of course the picture's blurry. We had one shot at it. The picture's blurry. Thanks, Barnes & Noble, for screwing up my picture. But, I ain't complaining. I ain't complaining at all. We stumbled to the car. We woke Luna up, and we got the hell out of there. $36 to park. $36 to park, and we were leaving at 11 a.m. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And here's the other thing. We're driving home. There's a little bit of traffic. And Austin's looking at me in the passenger seat. And you know what? I was really tired. I was so tired that I ended up pouring an entire bottle of water over my head to stay awake. Anytime I would start to feel like, oh my God, I would pour water on my head. And Austin looked at me like, Dad, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm really tired, Austin. I'm really, really tired. So we got all the way to Santa Fe Springs by the swap meet, by the drive-in, the old drive-in. And I actually nodded off on the road for a second. And it lasted all of half a second. My head whipped right back up. I freaked, and there's no cars around, thank God. I freaked out. I told Austin, you got to talk to me. We have to sing. We put on Come On Eileen, and I'm singing Come On Eileen as loud as I friggin' can. And I was terrified because they don't know how to drive. They can't get me home. Only I could get me home. Only me. And I'll tell you, from Santa Fe Springs Drive into our house, it's like 4 miles, maybe. Longest 4 miles of my freaking life. I was so scared. I couldn't stay awake. I was forcing myself to stop my body from just shutting down. So we made it home, thank God. Poured a lot of water on myself, sang Come On Eileen about 35 times. And I got to bed. I was hallucinating. Like, I laid down in bed, and I thought Rachel was here, and she came in and sat on the bed. Now, she's at work. She's not even here. And I'm like, honey, I'm home okay. There's nobody there. I swear to God, I thought she was sitting on the bed. I've never hallucinated like that before. I was so freaking exhausted. My mind was just like, boo, you're crazy now. Welcome to Crazy Town, Jeff. All the sights we're going to show you. Ooh, I couldn't believe it. I've talked on this show before. I love my brain. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Staying awake was like doing drugs. I was gone. And I finally had to force myself because, it's bright as day in my room. I had to put blankets over my head, convince myself to go to sleep. And I think I got about 4 or 5 solid hours before I woke up and felt a little normal. So it was a great experience. I'm really thankful to my friend for helping me out. It was a lot to ask. I'm not sure how it went down there for the people who didn't get in. I feel terrible for them. What do you do? Right? I'm sorry. But I had 2 books, and I put them on eBay, and I noticed the price. Normally the price of this stuff goes down. Like, normally if you get a book signed and you can get it on eBay that day, you can make top dollar. But every day after that, the price goes down. Because normally whoever it is doing more book signings, and more signed books are entering the market. Here's the difference. This is friggin' Bruce Springsteen. Are you crazy? The price went up. So I listed them at $475. Thinking, look, if I sell it for $400, that's more than I ever thought I would make on a book like that. Oh my God. So I let them sit, and people started right away giving me best offers, and they were really low. And I wrote people back, I'm like, you offer me $100 for this book? Like, this was 9 hours of my life almost to get this book. So, no. You got to pay a little more. And you know what? They're selling for a lot more on eBay too. You're just lowballing me hoping I'll sell it. So, I went back to bed that night, and when I woke up, both books had sold for full price. No best offer, $4.75 a piece. Oh my God. And you know what? That helped pay my rent. That went right into the rent jar. Nothing frivolous, nothing silly, right in the rent jar. Thank God. I couldn't have been more proud or like, oh my God, mission accomplished. And I got a blurry picture of me in Austin with Bruce Springsteen. Like that's pretty cool, right? I met the boss, Springsteen. For a lot of people who down there, they were crying when they met him. This is a guy that means a lot to a lot of people. I totally get that. Just because he's not my hero doesn't mean he ain't millions of people's hero. With lots of tattoos and tour shirts to prove it. So he was such a trooper to stand there and take picture after picture with everybody. God bless him. What a dude, man. What a dude. People at the Grove couldn't have been nicer. It was very well handled. It was very professional, very organized. That's not always the case with signings like that. Yeah, a few people jumped the line at the end. It didn't bother me. I'm not going to get in a twist about that, They were here before I was anyway. So what do I give it up to them. I should have gone to the end of the line anyways. But, we all know people and we use what we have to figure things out. That's the way life works, That's the way things go. We did Horror Nights and Queen Mary Dark Harbor this year. Hopefully we'll have a wrap-up episode on that. This Saturday night, Rach and I are going to Delusion. We can't wait. This Saturday night also is the Pop Comics Downtown Anaheim Monster Art Show. So that should be very cool. And it runs for a while, so you can check out all the art. Check out our Facebook page for information on that. We have a show dedicated to talking all about the art show. I won't put any Bruce Springsteen music on this episode because I don't want to get sued. But, hey, you in that dress, my thoughts I confess, verge on dirty. I'm Jeff Tucker. Thanks for tuning in. The show is 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Linda! What do you want? Oh, shit! Oh, I'm very sorry to disturb you, madam. I was looking for Linda. I hope this is the wrong house. No offense.
My husband has a gun!
I'm sure he has, madam. No, for all I know, he shot it while you scream.
Karen!
No, that's
Come
right.
over here! This man wants to know where Linda lives!
That's a wonderful